A short reflection for the 2nd of November, All Souls Day, a day of commemorating the faithful departed. Every day is a series of decisions: which path to take, which route to follow. I have a few choices. I wonder what Proverbs 2 has to say to me. So, given all the choices and decisions that we have to make, some simple everyday decisions, some colossal, huge decisions, how do we access this wisdom? How do we enrich ourselves with this wisdom of God? Proverbs 2 suggests there are things that we should incline towards, and there are things that God does. So the first part of Proverbs 2 that says that we should accept God's words, store up God's commands within us, turn our ears to his wisdom, apply our hearts to God's understanding, call out for insight and wisdom, cry aloud for understanding, look for it as if looking for silver, as if searching for hidden treasure. That's our side of the bargain, if it's a bargain. How do we access this wisdom? And then Proverbs 2 says, then, if we attend to those things, then you will understand the fear of the Lord. Remember in chapter 1, fear of the Lord, the awesome regard and respect for God and our need for God's guidance is the beginning of wisdom. Fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. If we tend to these things, then we will understand the fear of the Lord, we'll find knowledge, the Lord will give us wisdom. Wisdom is God's to give from his mouth, knowledge and understanding. We'll have success, we'll be shielded, we'll be guarded and protected. All these things that are part of the wisdom and the guidance that God gives. If we attend to some things, God attends to wisdom and gives wisdom. Remembering those paths going in different directions, Proverbs 2 says, you will understand what is right and just and fair, every good path. We'll be saved from going down the wrong route, saved from the ways of wicked men or adulterous women, the wickedness of men and women that would lead us down the wrong path. We'll walk in the ways of the good and keep to the paths of the righteous. Tim Keller, in his book around Proverbs and wisdom, writes about the paradox here. Wisdom is something we should seek, we should cry out for wisdom, but ultimately verse 6 says that wisdom is a gift from God. It's something that God gives. And this is what he writes about that paradox. Paradox itself is wise, is wisdom. If it were all up to us, we would labour under crushing anxiety and burn out. But if God only worked apart from us, we would lose all sense of initiative. The paradox, we do our part, God does God's part. The paradox gives us enough incentive and enough assurance to pursue the knowledge of God all our life long. So the reflection today, when we think about the paradox in Proverbs 2, is, are we doing our part that God might do God's part? Are we pursuing wisdom as diligently and as earnestly as we might? And are we being as patient with God as we need to be? For God gives wisdom in God's wise time. On this All Souls Day, I thank God today for those women and men who have shaped who I am. Ubuntu, I am I because of who we are. I give thanks to God for God's faithful servants who are now with him in heaven, including grandparents, parents, influential people in my own life who've helped guide my path and opened up for me the wisdom of God. See you tomorrow.